Warlord, huh? Probably one of the only heroes that's just kind of closest to his launch counterpart than any other hero in the game. Seriously, throughout all the years of playing this game, I don't really think I've seen Warlord in a balance patch that wasn't about crashing charge. He's as vanilla gets, and he's probably the most honest heavy hero in the game. See, the worst part about Warlord is that he's just consistently good in every meta. Good bash, good hitboxes with externals with good damage, crushing counters. You just can't go wrong picking Warlord. The best way I can really explain Warlord, he's just an enigma. He has such a small moveset, yet he's still so viable with just that. But we aren't here to talk about him. We're here to talk about his helmets and what they mean. If you're returning to all these videos, why not hit that sub button? It really helps me out. We're getting really close to 6K, and I'd kind of love to hit that before September. Nevertheless, let's get right into the video. You know, when you start manning someone, everyone has to start somewhere, but everyone starts with the Cavian. When they first picked the For Honor, they were one of those guys that religiously used shields in games like Dark Souls 3 or Skyrim playthroughs. And since Warlord was the only hero until Black Prior to have a sword and shield combo, this was the reason they went to go play him. Other than that, they're just, again, new players without a cent to their name because, you know, anyone and everyone just, you know, wants to get off default as fast as possible. These two are basically your I'm rep 1 and I think every Warlord helmet is really garbage players. And honestly, they kind of have a point. I mean, the lower rep helmets are just so hard, I don't know why Ubisoft really thought of implementing half of them to the game. But these guys are just slowly getting the hang of Warlord, but just can't grasp him properly. Most of the time, they're just double letting consistently from neutral with no rhyme or reason. Truly, they're just trying to hope the enemy isn't fast enough to react to them, or that they're on old gen. Man, poor old gen. This is your I hate gold trim armor players, who would rather look like a homeless man for the sake of realism than look like a badass. Their realism mindset also transfers to the gameplay, where they basically do absolutely nothing all fucking game. Never in minion lane, always boosting, and when they are boosting, they're probably turtling as hard as possible. You know those guys that they get super close to death, they just run away from you? Yeah. Fargo Warlords are those players. So in your life, you've probably played a lot of Siege and you made Tachanka, or you played a lot of Tarkov and realized this is the Alton helmet with a Viking take on it. I mean, look at it. It's even got the rivets in it. It's a cool helmet, don't get me wrong, but I mean, you can't really do much with it. Just like the tankiness of the Alton and Tachanka, these guys are your tank main warlords, and they're probably running things like the tried and true Last Stand, Bastion, Vengeful Barrier. Pairing with feats like Tough as Nails, Flesh Wound, their whole objective is to live in every team fight, no matter how much damage they take. Happily sitting back in full block any chance they get just to really get the immovable object mindset going. You're definitely rep 5 at most at the moment, and you really got sick and tired of Warlord's garbage tier helmets you kept getting. So you spent a good amount of scavenger crates and steel to get this helmet. You're practically only running this for the gold faceplate, and that's it, and you don't have any actual armor to match it other than your weapons, because, you know, those are always gold. These guys are your Copium Warlords, where if you parry one light attack of theirs or turtle for less than 5 seconds, they will say, well, the only way I can win is if I bash him, and they proceed to do never anything but headbutt and dodge forward GB for the rest of the game. In their mind, they have to do it. But like, man, it's just super fucking petty. You're definitely going for a Kratos cosplay. I mean, it's practically a given with the red paint going down his eye. Your only gripe with the helmet is that you can't change its color, because if you could, in your own words, you would say, it would be the perfect helmet. To match the Kratos cosplay, you also match his energy from God of War 3. Massive amounts of rage will spark from these warlords. They're most likely in solo queue because their friends got really tired of them yelling every little inconvenience. Getting a heavy parry? Rage. Getting ganked? Rage. Missing a heavy parry? You guessed it. Rage. These guys really wanted their solid gold warlord, and there's really no helmet that's more gold than this. But the problem is that it just looks stupid as hell, and, you know, never tell Rikir warlords that. They most likely carry a script in their pocket of why the Rikir is actually Warlord's best helmet, and you just can't see the vision. I mean, the only thing I can think of is how stupid this helmet makes Warlord sound. You know when you punch your nose and you sound really stupid? You know, like this? That's the only thing I imagine Rikir warlords sound like. Most of the time, these guys are always at the bottom of the leaderboards, somehow struggling in things that anyone with a reaction time above 400 ms would just be able to handle, but somehow not these guys. And they're always on your team. Don't forget. this is definitely your basic. I'm somewhere between rep 7 and 8 and don't want to spend money on scavenger crates for Warlord fashion, so they just kind of grabbed the full set and called it a day. They probably have Warlord as their third least played Viking, only behind Shaman and Valkyrie. But the thing is, even though these guys don't play Warlord all that often, when they do, it's normally a stomp from them. They most likely complain about how boring the hero truly is. No matter what they're doing, they are just killing it though. They refuse to ever say that Warlord is actually fun hero, but every game they play, they're at the top of the scoreboard, and it always says otherwise. If you're in the Austrian helmet, it's because you're one of those meme players just wants their hero to look objectively bad, and it's because you don't own the Sudra helmet. And if you do own the Sudra helmet, you know exactly what you're doing, don't you? This helmet looks like you smeared cow and pig shit across your face, and while you were at it, you ripped the nose ring out of the cow and took it for yourself. 90% of Sudri warlords have this helmet with the mandibles to make themselves look so much worse than they already do. It's all meme threats from these guys, complete ledgelords who will emote spam as you're falling up the cliff they threw you from. They're not here to make friends or to go with sick warlord anti-gang clips, they're here to piss everybody in the lobby off by any means necessary, including their teammates. Sometimes just blatantly revenge feeding with headbutt over and over again, just for the shits and gigs. These guys are playing Warlord mostly to look like Hulk Hogan and spam wrestling executions Warlord was kind of known for. Most of the time, it's just a full cosplay of any wrestler of their choice, and it's complete by even saying the things out loud in the friend group calls. I've heard so many of my friends that use this helmet just randomly go throughout the match, and all I hear is, "I got you for 3 minutes! Let's get it, brother! It's Hulkamania!" Anytime they're executing someone. This is their personality when they just pick up Warlord, which is odd because normally when they play any other hero, they're never like this. It's kind of a given when you're low health, they're going to go for a heavy or heavy feint to GB because sometimes something just compels them to do executions 24/7. Not to mention they have to run things like self-revive just to get the opportunities to go, "It's not over, brother." No, but seriously, I think everyone really wants to see this helmet, and there's definitely a lot of things I could say about it. From things like Warlord's best helmet to overhyped, but I think the best word to explain this is Warpig. Again, just to explain to the new viewers, a Warpig is basically a statement that means anyone that uses this helmet overestimates how good they are, and they think that they're better than everyone else in the lobby. This is the most common Warlord helmet for up 60 to 80. It's a good helmet, but like goddamn is it so overused and overshadows some of the other higher up helmets. Heal for Warlords are a mixed bunch, but most of them pride themselves in playing super defensively, and god is it fucking annoying. But they all have a pattern they follow, so once you figure it out, they're going to try to crush and counter you. They basically lost every single fight. The other smaller majority of these guys love being as aggressive as possible, switching up their openers every time they can to really make you guess what the hell they're trying to do. This is one of the best helmets Warlord has, and it's overshadowed by the Yolfir. Any respectable Warlord runs this helmet, and the other one we'll get to later. These guys are the ones you should be really scared of, and it's almost impossible to really get the upper hand on these guys in a 1v1 scenario. Their favorite tool in their entire arsenal is a tie between their shield bash punish and crushing counters. These guys could be getting 1v3'd on their main point, and somehow they got revenge twice. It's insane how much will these guys have to continue for so long, even though their team is laying them down every turn of the way. Be honest, you just wanted to make your Warlord look like they were in the band's Kiss, right? I mean, that's truly it. There's just a cosplay and nobody uses this helmet if they're trying to have good fashion. I mean, if you are, then you must be colorblind or, actually blind. Because why on earth would you actually put up with this? Or maybe you're just trying to look like Sting, but I've already talked about wrestlers this video, and if I had to talk about wrestler cosplays in a Warlord video twice, well, that would just kind of be weird, huh? You're like rep 6 max, and you just don't play Warlord at all. He's most likely your least played Viking or tied for it. You're only really playing him because you either had an order to complete or wanted to see how he felt. Or most case scenario, you hit the random button and it landed on a Warlord. But the thing is, you play Warlord and you actually enjoy playing him. Even though you only play him one game, maybe a week, this is the most fun you've had all week. This is what I believe to be the other helmets vastly outshined by the Yulfir. These guys are your old Warlord mains who've been begging for a rework for years. But just like when they used to ask their mom or dad for a PS3 back in 2006, they were ignored for years. So in return, they wallow away in their higher-up Warlord just sitting in full block trying to bait out bad options. They're most likely doing this to counter the massive dodge cancel meta that is plaguing the game at the moment. And they realize how powerful having a neutral and dodgeable is at this stage for honor, and your team absolutely adores you for being able to hit that stupid fucking pirate or Orochi that is spamming dodge cancel recoveries on their dodge attacks, because surely that takes any skill, right? These guys definitely pride themselves in clean fashion. Every single Viking they have is most likely running something very similar to this armor set. The whole goal is just to look as smooth and polished as possible, and they aren't afraid to pull out their credit card to buy things like the Forge effect to really just amplify their fashion. Other than their fashion, the only thing they love is crashing charge. They will always, and I mean always, vote for High Forge whenever you see it, and they will throw you off the bridges. Always bringing Bear Trap with them just to make ledging you way easier than it already was. Alright, gamers, still, that has been Warlord. Now, a lot of you did ask for him, and trust me, I did try. Warlord was not an easy tasking, as some of his helmets just really weren't worth talking about, but I think I got everything that I needed to be covered. As always, I hope you guys have a fantastic day.